Hey, everybody, and welcome to Helping Americans Heal Mastermind video. This is David Essel with you. So glad that you're part of our group. And every once in a while, we're going to start out with probably every couple weeks, you'll be getting this mastermind video where I personally answer your questions. Now, the reason we do it this way is so that you can stay confidential, anonymous, right? So I'm not going to be reading a name. This is from Jim in Missouri or Mary in New York City or whatever it might be. We are just going to be taking your questions, answering them for everyone in the group to benefit from. Whenever you have a question, just email us. You can either reply to the email that you're watching this video on, or you can go to our website, talkdavid.com, and hit the contact us and just put a question mark on the subject line and then send us your question, okay? We'll do our very best to answer as many questions as we can. And I'm just so excited that you're with us. Don't forget also that with this membership, you've already received the Positive Thinking book. You have access, if you'd like, to our free meditation relaxation audio. You have access, if you'd like, to a free annual subscription to Recovery Today magazine. All of this is on the website, talkdavid.com, underneath the program that you're in, Helping Americans Heal. As we go through this program, when you think about friends and family that may be interested, let them know it's extremely inexpensive, as you well know. And we're here really to help America. We're in this crazy period of time. So we created this program and we're going to be helping everyone, civilians like you and me, no matter what you do, hairstylist, doctor, if you work at a convenience store, it doesn't matter. We're here for everyone. Veterans, their families, active military, their families, first responders, all of America now is in this program, Helping Americans Heal. With this session that I'm doing tonight, I'm going to ask you to take notes. When you take notes, it sinks into both the conscious and the subconscious mind, much more so than just sitting and watching. Now, you might go, but David, I really don't have an interest in this first topic you're talking about, or the fourth question, or whatever it might be. And that's fine. Don't worry about it. In the future, though, when you take notes, and I keep it in a notebook, Helping Americans Heal Mastermind notebook. When you take notes, you never know in the future that someone might come up and ask a question to you, or maybe you'll go through something that we're talking about today, flip back through your notes, and you'll have the answer. Does that sound good? So remember, send in your questions. If it's about money, relationships, addiction, anxiety, depression, suicide, career, we cover it all. Okay, so just really happy to have you with us. Let's get started. Number one, I've followed you for 10 years. Please explain suicidal ideation. My partner may be doing this. I know where to get help. I just don't know what that term means. So suicidal ideation means a person is thinking daily, on a daily basis, that it's time to leave this existence. It's time to get out of this life. The pain is too great. The loss is too hard. The depression is too deep. The anxiety is too high. There's 1,000 different thoughts of why someone may have suicidal ideation. Maybe it's a financial struggle. Maybe it's a health struggle. There's a lot of people right now that are struggling because they still can't see loved ones in the hospital or nursing homes, et cetera. And they may feel hopeless, that they can't do anything. And there is, again, 1,000 reasons why someone may have a feeling of wanting to take their life. And it can happen to some of the most unsuspecting people. I happen to be one of those. In 1990, for about 6 months prior to a day, I had planned on taking my own life. Suicidal ideation was probably written all over my face if anyone could see me, but I was isolating. I was doing a radio show every Saturday and Sunday from 10 at night to 1 in the morning. 7 days a week, I was drinking heavily to try to self-medicate from the depression and the anxiety that had been raging through my body for 30, 40 years up to that point. On that day, I finally had chosen a day and I had the materials and I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I ended up sitting in a psychiatrist's office for half of a day until he finally saw me and he saved my life. If your partner, or if you know someone with suicidal ideation, suicidal intentions, the best thing to do is to sit with them, talk to them, see if you can get them to talk to someone else, a professional. At the very least, you can call 911 if you're very, very, very nervous about your friend or your partner. There's suicide hotlines all over the USA. There's a lot of support. And if I can help, because I've gone through the same thing, and thankfully I was not able to do it, reach out to me at talkdavid.com. Okay. If your partner wants to talk to me, let's do so. There'll be no charge. I want to help. Let me help. Just send an email at talkdavid.com. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. 140 plus civilians in the United States commit suicide. There's a lot of it going on, and we know there are answers to help you. The help that I got with the psychiatrist and the therapist is incredible. They saved my life. If I can do the same to help you, let me. It's a beautiful question. Thank you for writing in. The second one is, so happy to have found this program. I'm looking to lose 50 pounds and want to know the best diet. Now, this person also wrote that they were wondering if keto was the right diet. This is a great question because there's so many programs out there, right? There's keto, there's intermittent fasting, there's South Beach, there's Mediterranean, there's everything in the world that you can imagine. And they all will work for certain people. There is not a diet program that's going to be perfect for everyone. I know one of my clients decided to go on keto. I was working with her for a different reason. She ended up losing 80 pounds. And after losing the 80 pounds, just found that the diet was a little too restrictive for her. She ended up gaining 30 pounds back before she switched to another program. Now, there are other people I know in keto that have lost 80 to 100 pounds and they've kept it off for 4 or 5 years. Let me share with you what we use in our practice. We have a weight loss program, and we do a long-term weight loss program. If someone says, I want to lose weight for my high school reunion, that's not something that we would probably be interested in. But if you're really serious about losing weight, check the program out at talkdavid.com. But let me tell you what we have found to be the best dietary program to follow, and it's very simple. It's high lean protein, a lot of vegetables, some fruit, and complex carbohydrates. So the lean protein can be anything from cottage cheese to tuna fish to meat to poultry to you name it. It's protein shakes, protein bars, lean protein, as clean as you can get. And we try to always encourage people to go for organic if it's possible. Vegetables, a ton of them. Once again, organic if possible. When we talk about complex carbohydrates, it's like whole grain brown rice, whole grain brown pasta, whole grain pasta, whole wheat pastas. Those are sweet potatoes. Those are all phenomenal choices for complex carbohydrates. Now, complex carbohydrates are needed for brain energy. So we don't say to go to a high protein diet only. You really do need carbohydrates at every meal. And then we ask our clients to eat every 3.5 to 4 hours. This keeps blood sugar levels normalized so you don't have the highs and the lows. When blood sugar levels are low, look out. Anything that isn't tied down is going to get eaten. Have you ever had that feeling? It's like I normally don't eat a Snickers bar, but I need 6 right now. That's normally because blood sugar levels have dropped so low that you're going to do anything to try to feel better. Instead of that, eat every 3.5 to 4 hours. And what we recommend is put an alarm on your phone. Everyone has a phone, right? Put an alarm every 3.5 or 4 hours to make sure you don't go past it. And you're going to probably have to bring food from home. We'll talk about that on another time. But those are just some ideas. And then exercise, of course, it's crucial for weight loss. But remember this, 6 10-minute walks has the same weight loss effect as one 60-minute walk. So don't use time as an excuse. I don't have time. Yes, you do. You can find 6, 10 minutes during the day, okay? Start in the morning. Walk 5 minutes out from your house, 5 minutes back. Get up during the day, 5 minutes away from your desk, 5 minutes back. Who knows? Your desk may be in your house still, right? But let's get serious because 80% of Americans are struggling with weight right now. And we know that weight is one of the biggest issues as we age regarding disease. So let's get a hold of it now. Great question. Next up, a 30-year veteran, constant negative thoughts. I've heard about cognitive behavioral therapy, but I don't know what it is or how it works. And this is a great question. Cognitive behavioral therapy in one of my psychological journals about 3 months ago was ranked as the top therapeutic tool available to interrupt a negative thought process. Isn't that amazing? I mean, we have thousands of techniques as counselors and therapists, and CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy was ranked as number 1 to eradicate short-term, anyway, negative thoughts, negative thinking. So this is how it works. And I'm going to tell you what, get a rubber band. This is called a Huna band. A Huna band was specifically made for cognitive behavioral therapy. You can Google Huna bands, HUNABANDS, and you can get your own right from the company. They create a great product that's long lasting. And the reason I wear one is because it does last forever. So here's cognitive behavioral therapy. You have a negative thought. You've got to be aware of it, right? You get up in the morning, you go, oh, crap, I don't want to do this today. The minute you have a negative thought, snap the band and say these phrases. Cancel that thought. I am free. When the thought comes back, snap it again. Cancel that thought. I am free. When it comes back again, cancel that thought. I am free. You can use it for anger, frustration, anxiety, depression, loneliness. It will work with any of what we call the lower energy emotions. All of those that I just mentioned, even boredom, right? If you're bored, because what happens with boredom? If you stay bored, you'll start eating, drinking, smoking, vaping, whatever it is. So we want to get out of that. So what we do and how this works, when a thought comes up that's negative and it's met by discomfort, pain on the wrist, the brain starts to register every time I have this thought. Every time I have this thought, I get pain. Now, here's something interesting. We're snapping the band on the wrist, but the very first place the pain signal arises is in the brain. So do you see how that works? I've had so many clients that have used this to cut cravings for sugar, alcohol, nicotine, pot. We have people that use this technique in order to decrease negative thoughts, boredom, anger, rage, resentments. It works with everything, but you've got to be consistent. The more consistently that you do cognitive behavioral therapy, the more consistent the end result will be. Now, once you've minimized those emotions, once you've brought them underneath control, the next thing is what you want to do is work with a professional to find the origin. Why is it that I'm always thinking negatively? So we can eliminate that short term with cognitive behavioral therapy, but then work with a professional long term to figure out, why is it that I feel so negative? Why is it that I have so many resentments? Why is it that I'm so impatient in traffic? Why is it that I'm so irritable? We got to get to the base core of those. But first, let's at least eliminate that and give your mind a break. Beautiful question. I met you 30 years ago in Seattle at a lecture. We used to go out to Seattle about every 3 to 4 months during the 90s and do lectures out there. I've read about gratitude on a daily basis and forward gratitude. Would love to know your thoughts on that. Okay, a great question. I just had a client today that we spent the whole hour talking about forward gratitude and why I'm not a fan of it, actually. So forward gratitude is a phrase that came up, and it came out of books like The Secret and the Law of Attraction and all that, where it says that if you put forward gratitude for things that you don't have right now, but that what you want, you will bring them into your life. Think about that. If I have gratitude for the house on the beach that I don't have right now, I'll bring that into my life. Now, does that sound logical? That we can put out a thought and be happy for the house on the beach and it's going to come to us? I have a major concern with this. And I'll tell you what I told my client today. It's called an addiction to the future. When we're constantly being grateful for things that we don't have, we're living in the future, but we're not living in the present. Does that make sense? So what we say is, let's reverse it. Instead of having gratitude for what we hope comes to us in the future, let's get into the present. When you can have massive gratitude for the body you have, even if it isn't perfect, for the income you have, even if it isn't perfect, for the car you have, even if it isn't your favorite, for the home you're living in, even if it isn't ideal, when you can bring it down to this level, you have just mastered life. Isn't that wild? You've just mastered life. When you can start to find gratitude for everything in your life that you have that isn't perfect, this is where life mastery comes into play. Now, the gentleman, my client today that we had this incredible conversation over, he was talking to a friend of his who had just gone to a major player. I won't mention the person's name, but a major player in the world of personal growth, a workshop they had, and they spent something like 3 days on this one topic. So he came home all excited to tell my client, oh my God, you've got to stop doing gratitude the way you are. You've got to do forward gratitude. And when my client and I talked about it, we came up with the same conclusion. And he understood what I was saying. Gratitude for the future, or forward gratitude, is staying out of the moment, and it's only living in the future. Come back to the present. Listen, have faith. If you're doing the right work, you're going to get the rewards that you want. Okay. We have to have that kind of faith, but we also have to be realistic. Hoping about something and putting a message out into the universe of some type that you really are grateful for that brand new car when you're so far away from buying a car, that's not logic. Let's get grounded. Great question, though, and let's get grounded. Okay, my dad, a World War II vet, Trained us kids. Now, we hear this all the time. We've worked with vets for years to never ask for help on the job. Like if you're struggling mentally, it's going to decrease your chances for involvement. How do I become more compassionate to others? Because this type of thinking is not a compassionate way of life. And it's true. It's true. Like when you ask for help, you're being vulnerable. Now, compassion and vulnerability are separate things, but let me first talk about vulnerability and humility. When you ask for help, it forces you to be vulnerable because you're risking the potential of rejection. It's forcing you to be in the present moment because you're not living in the past or the future. You're saying, I need help now. When you ask for help and you get it, it will lead to a more compassionate understanding of life. And how is that? Because you will be working with someone, a professional. And all of us professionals are trained to be compassionate in the world of counseling and coaching and therapy. So when you see someone that you're talking to and you're sharing your deepest fears, your deepest concerns, your deepest whatever they might be, you will be sitting in the world or in the seat of compassion, right? You'll have someone who's sitting here looking at you like this, whose eyes are open, whose ears are open, whose mouth is shut, looking at you and allowing you to vent, allowing you to talk about the things that you might be afraid to talk about, showing you that you can be vulnerable and humble without being concerned about being rejected or criticized or abandoned. And the reason as children that we don't do this, if we have a father who's in the military or a mother's in the military, and if they come home, it's really strict, like you never need, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You don't need anyone else to help you. Well, you're not going to argue with your father when you're 0 to 18, or you might, but you're probably not going to get very far, right? It is totally the most powerful move in the world to ask for help. A few minutes ago, I was talking about in 1990 when I had my suicidal ideation and had planned on taking my life. I ended up asking for help. It was really hard for me to do as a professional because I'm supposed to know this stuff. I'm supposed to be ahead of the game. I shouldn't have to ask for help with my own mental health, but actually the opposite is true. So your father did exactly what your father was trained to do, and your father taught you exactly how he was trained to teach you. Times have changed, right? You said your father was a 30-year vet. Times have changed a lot. Now we're much more open. And again, it's one of the reasons why we're doing this mastermind, so that we can give you answers that are anonymous and confidential. You can get all the help you want right here without having to expose who you are. And of course, we would never do that. Also, though, please work with professionals to bring yourself to that next level. Okay. My goals during the pandemic have all failed. Depression is setting in. COVID has hurt me financially. I need help and ideas. Okay. So we have a brand new book coming out, The Ultimate Guide to Helping Americans Heal. And in there, we talk about this. We talk about the pandemic and we talk about depression. But I'm going to tell you some things that I want you to think about when it comes to finances, career, and the frustration you're hitting right now. Do you know how many people have become entrepreneurs during the pandemic? Do you know how many people that have started doing home deliveries, that have started doing home shopping, that have started doing all of these services for people because there was a need to fill, right? I want you to do this because I know you're struggling right now and I know you're anxious about money and worried about money, but I want you to start writing down, how could you fill a need today? How could you be one of the many people offering services to people who are still concerned about going out in public or being with groups of people? So the very first thing is I want you to tap into your own creativity. I want you to sit and think. If you have a partner, ask your partner, brainstorm. What could I bring to my community? What kind of service could I bring that maybe isn't there right now? Let me tell you something very interesting. One of my team members, her name is Judy. She works with a lot of individuals with social media marketing. And I was talking to her about, do you have any unique stories during the pandemic of people that were losing their business, losing their shirts, and then finally found a way to make a lot of money? And she told me about this person that was a home chef. The restaurant had closed, and now he goes in and does private parties, private teaching lessons for individuals that are looking to cook in different ways. His business has exploded. Well, he's going into their homes. He's offering a service, right? He's offering a service that had not been there before, and his business is exploding. So that's tip number one. What can you think of that would really help a lot of people, that would be a service and filling a need in your society. Tip number 2 is this: get together with 2 or 3 people that you know that are in business, collaborators. Talk to them. How can the 3 or 4 of you come up with a business plan to do something different during the pandemic? How can 3 or 4 of you make a difference? And maybe the 3 or 4 of you getting together will come up with so many brainstorming ideas that you'll be able to create a business together. But don't do it alone. We've reached out to, oh my God, tons of veterans programs, active military bases. We've reached out to first responders. We've reached out to so many people to collaborate with them. And through all those collaborations came this: helping Americans heal. So it works. It really does work. Collaborate. Write down a list of 3 or 4 or 5 people that you know that you can trust. See if you can't even get a Zoom to call together, or a call and a conference call. Set it up to be once a week for 30 to 60 minutes. You have to make it regular. Like, you want to keep momentum going. And when you do that, you may just be surprised that during the pandemic, you can create a totally new business existence. Listen, I love working with you guys. I am so proud of you for writing in these questions, and keep them coming. Every week, every 2 weeks, once a month, whenever it fits into your schedule, keep those questions coming in. Don't forget to tell your friends and family that Helping Americans Heal is here for them as well. It's only $9.98 a week. It's a great deal. Remember to read the Positive Thinking book that you got when you signed up, and all the answers in it. If you want, take advantage of the relaxation audio that's available on the page Helping Americans Heal at talkdavid.com. If you'd like, take advantage of the free subscription to Recovery Today magazine. Again, talkdavid.com on the page Helping Americans Heal. We are here for you. We're going to be here for you for a very long time. I know you can make the changes that you're looking to make, and we are happy to be part of your success. Until next time, I'm David Essel with Helping Americans Heal at talkdavid.com. Have a beautiful day.